welcome back to Shelabobby Handmade. My name is Caitlin, known just about everywhere on the internet as Shelabobby, and this is my podcast where we talk about knitting, crochet, yarn, all of the fiber fun stuff. And today is a normal podcast where I'm going to talk about my finished objects, some works in progress, update you on the blanket, and I also have my third quarter stats, so how I've been doing on my in versus out throughout the year. And we'll talk about some lifey things later, just some admin. Thank you so much for your patience. I have not been very well over the past couple of weeks, and I was unable to record a podcast last weekend. I am still recovering, so you will probably still hear a little bit of stuffiness, may have some breaks for coughing and some fluids, but I am thankfully doing a little bit better than last weekend. Alright, so let's just get right on in to finished objects. So, last episode, you saw my chicken, and then you saw my other chicken, and now we have a lot more chickens, and I'm going to do my best to hold all of the chickens, but likely will not be able to. There's a lot. We're just going to keep piling them in. So many chickens. See if I can get them. Oh no, I dropped some. Just squish them in, pile them in. How we doing? Okay. Alright. That's about where Goldie would be anyway. We have 12 crochet chickens. So you saw 2 in the last episode, and then I have made 10 in the repeating weeks after. So there are 12 chickens here that are crocheted. We have 6 chickens, and I made one that matches each of our chickens for myself, and then one for each for my mom. So that's why we have 12. Going to show you them while I put them back in. This is the one for Babs, one of our hens. Let's toss her over here gently. This one would be Goldie or Barta, and you can see a matching one on my shoulder. That one goes over there. That's another Babs. Oh gosh, here's a rooster. So we have 2 Rhode Island red roosters. One is named Lord Cluck, and one is named Cluck Norris. So we have some more roosters. This one is Shanti, one of our hens. And I think that's about it. So 12 chickens in total. Now I got fluff up my nose too. Alright, so let's just take a look at one. So this is a pattern called Maple Chicken by Jocelyn Elizabeth. And this is, I believe it's a paid for pattern if I remember correctly. I made a couple of patterns back to back, and some of them are free. But I think this one's a paid for pattern. It is made out of Bernat blanket yarn, and you can see my leftovers in here because I bought way too much. So I have a lot more chickens that I can make if need be. But yeah, I just purchased different colors for the bodies of the hens so that it matches our chickens, and then I use the yellow on some of the chickens, and then all of them have the red combs. Very, very easy to make. I think I could make one in 30 minutes, stuff it real quick, and that'd be it. So love the pattern, very easy, and Kate is also working on her crochet skills and making one as well. So in the last 3 weeks, I think, I have made 10 total, and then there's 12 in total of all the chickens. I think that is all the details you want to know about that. I didn't write down dates for any of them, because sometimes I would make 3 a day, sometimes I would just make 1 or half of one and finish it the next day. So don't really have any dates on those, but it was within the last week of the last podcast being recorded. So that is the first finished objects, quite a few there, but I kind of lumped them all together. Alright, so the next finished object that I have, you saw the beginnings of, and these are my soccer mitts, which I'm calling my Era mitts because they are made out of Era's, excuse me, Era's leftovers from my friend. She passed on her leftovers from her mustache yarns, and I made myself a pair of fingerless mitts. This pattern is Soccer Mitts by Erica Lauder, I think is how I'd want to say that. So it's a free pattern. This one's a free pattern, and it is great. I think of it much like making a pair of socks, and then the other one is matching, but you do a left and right for the thumb gusset. That's the pattern. The yarn, Era's by Mustache Yarns, and the perfect must match, I believe. And I cast these on September 14th and finished them on September 28th. I do have the cuff in a different color, and what happened there is I had actually knit the cuff, or whatever you would call this. I think that would be the cuff, the top part, the top ribbing of the fingerless mitt. I had actually knit it in the striped yarn, but when I did the bind off, I did the bind off too tight, and I didn't try it on until I had sewn in all of the ends and had actually started to pick up for the thumb gusset. Unfortunately, I went to go, when I realized that the bind off was too tight, like I couldn't spread my fingers, they were pretty locked in. When I went to rip that out, I had sewn in the ends, and I had sewn in the ends much too well, and so I lost the yarn that was in the ribbing. So I picked up underneath the ribbing and found this tan color that was in my minis and just did the cuff in that. So I do have kind of a matching but not matching. Maybe this will be my Tortured Poets Department colorway that I did for the thumb and the top part of the mitt. I did change the pattern slightly, where on the pattern this is a 1x1 rib, which I did on my sister's pair. But I prefer the look of a 2x2, so I did 2x2 both on the thumb gusset ribbing and on the top of the mitt. The bottom was as written in the 2x2. I think that is all on that one. No other changes, just that different yarn. And the extra yarn is probably a mini from Long Dog Yarn, one of her, probably from the Lord of the Rings is where that one came from. I have several of her collection mini sets, so probably that's where that one came from. That is all of the finished objects that I have today. I touched on a lot of different things, but I was also pretty sick and didn't feel like knitting for some of that time, so my knitting was up and down over the past couple of weeks. But that's all of the finished objects that I have, just a bunch of chickens and a pair of fingerless mitts. So let's jump right on into works in progress. There are chickens literally everywhere. Did not think that through before I just started tossing them on the ground. Alright, so the first work in progress is going to be my update on the Ocean Waves blanket, and it is on the top of the basket right here. But before I pick it up, because it is getting huge, I'm going to give you the details about it. So this is the Ocean Waves blanket by Lauren Brown. It is a free pattern on her website, and then I believe you can also purchase a PDF for it as well if you want. The pattern is great. It's a simple chevron-y wavy blanket in crochet double crochet, there we go. And I am using various colors, you can actually see them right here, various colors of I Love This Yarn from Hobby Lobby, so the worsted weight yarns. I'm using 5 different colors. We have, I believe this is gray, let's see, light gray, this one is light green, this one is denim, this one is light blue, and this one is dark olive, I believe. If you want to know the exact colorways of the yarns, you can look on the Ravelry project page, and then when I actually finish the project, I will go in details about the yarn itself. So that's about the pattern, that's about the yarn, and we are over halfway. I just counted it, and I think I'm on 9 repeats starting the 10th repeat, and I need a total of 16 repeats for the length of the blanket. So we're getting there. We're over halfway. Let's see. It is ginormous. Let me get the right way up here. So here is the blanket. It is huge, but it is just a simple chevron blanket that I'm making for my friend. It is going to be queen size. It is going to be 90 inches wide. Sorry if you can hear an airplane. It is going to be 90 inches wide and 100 inches tall. And so here, let's get it in frame. Here is where I was last time, and then I have done quite a bit. Now this is probably a month, maybe 6 weeks, since the last time you saw it. Like I said, it is getting heavy. It is touching the ground and piling down there. But right here is where I was last time, and I am currently on a dark blue stripe. So started on dark blue stripe and starting on the next repeat. Dark blue is the start of my repeat, so yes, starting on that 10th repeat. Okay, that was a lot of times just saying repeat. Don't have a drinking game. Alright, so that is my first works in progress. I'm going to pass it on over here. I have just started in on the 3rd skein of all of the colors. So, well, I think I still need to grab a blue from here, or dark blue, because that's the one I'm on right now. But I have started on the 3rd skein. I have 5 skeins of each color other than the light gray, which I got for a border if we're going to do a border. But I need at least 5 skeins of each color, so I'm starting in on the 3rd one. So, yay. I need to take a breath. Alright, let's start on some socks. So let me grab, way over here, my works in progress. So this one is living in my bag from JM Yarns and Crafts. It's my chicken bag that I won from summer sock camp. And in here, oh, I can get my sock blockers. One second. In here is my Most Ardently socks and what I'm calling my Echo socks, which are for my friend's mom, whose name is Norma. She likes some knit socks, and so I am making her a pair, most likely for Christmas is when they will get sent out. This is in Long Dog Yarns, An Echo in the Bone, which is from their Outlander series. And I am doing the Most Ardently pattern by Kelly Menzies. And I have one sock done, so that's why I grabbed my sock blockers, and these look amazing. So I made a pair of Most Ardently socks, but I recently found out that I am doing my yarn overs incorrectly, and so the holes were much smaller. So now that it's nice and open, it just looks beautiful. This pattern is very easy to remember as far as pattern repeats and row repeats, and so definitely recommend this for a simple lacy, I say simple, for a easy to remember lacy sock. So from the pattern, I have changed a little bit. I did a 2x2 ribbing instead of the ribbing that is called for in the pattern. The pattern actually has the ribbing twisted rib that matches up with the pattern repeat. And I did just a normal, I guess it's a wedge toe. I don't actually know what the normal toe is. Whatever's on the Crazy Sock Ladies sock pattern is what I do for all of my toes. And everything else is exactly to pattern. Here is where I am on the second sock, which is covered in a strand of yarn. So give me one moment. Here I am on the second sock. So I believe I have finished I have finished the leg of the sock, and I'm ready to move on to the heel flap, heel turn, and then start in on the gusset. So that is where I am on the second sock. Of course, here's the yarn. Again, this is Long Dog Yarns Merino Sock. This is their old Merino Sock base, and it is Echo in the Bone from the Outlander series. 64 stitches for these. Most of my socks are US 1, 64 stitches unless otherwise stated, and that is the case here, 64 stitches. I think that is all on that sock, so we'll move on to my other pair of socks. This is in my Fat Squirrel Fibers, my new rainbow ghosty bag. Love it. And these are socks for my nephew. I also have a completed one, so I'll put that on a sock blocker. Sorry, I just knocked the microphone. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. These are for my nephew, 64 stitches for him as well. They are black. This yarn is Camp Fiber Yarns by Camp Fiber Yarns in the colorway Just a Black. I don't remember the base, but I'm sure you will see it here in just a moment. I didn't write that part down. And I did 2x2 ribbing. I don't remember what the leg is. I think it's like 20 rounds. He likes kind of a shorter sock. Typical vanilla sock. The cute thing about these is I finished these the other day and he was staying here for the night, and I went out there to try it on and make sure that it fit him. And he was on the phone with his friends playing a video game, and he said, "Oh my gosh, my aunt," that's how he says it to them, "my aunt just came out and made me a pair of socks, and oh my gosh, she's trying it on, and it's so cozy. This is actually legit cozy. Brah, it's so cozy." So, he kept the sock on his foot for the rest of the evening, and I had to go get them from him so that I would have them to show. But one sock. He had one sock on his foot, I should say, like a singular sock. I haven't finished the other one. So the other sock is also covered in strands of yarn, but I am currently working through the foot. I am probably a third of the way through of just plain stockinette, where that marker is, the little ghost, not ghost, what is that? Jack-o'-lantern is where the gusset stopped. So I'm about a third of the way through the foot. I'll probably finish these up today and get them to him. So if you don't see these in person next episode, it's because they're on his feet. And I'm using just the black. I ordered 2 of these. You can actually see the other one right here. I ordered 2 of these because he's in the phase where he just wants black socks, and I am happy to provide them. Alright, one more works in progress, which is brand new, just started a little while ago. Like I said, I was sick and I haven't worked on it since then, plus some other things have come up. So I have a question for you guys as well in this. So this is my Ariana, I'm going to make sure I say that right, yep, Ariana cardigan by Amy Christophers, I never know exactly how to say that. And I started this in September, so it's been a couple of weeks, and right before I got sick. I started a video. This is my question to you. I don't know why it's making me nervous to ask you, but I started a video, kind of a make a project with me, so kind of a project vlog where I am showing you how I'm creating it, because 1, I have never made granny squares before, and 2, I have never made myself a crochet garment. So this is a first for a lot of things, and I thought it might be interesting because I'm using some computer AI to generate colors and pick my colors, and so I thought it might be interesting to kind of do a short video, and it was going to kind of be a quick project because I was planning on wearing it to SAF in 2 weeks, 2 weekends, probably a week and a half when you guys see this. But if you aren't from the area, or I don't know how much news coverage it is worldwide, but Western North Carolina, which is where SAF is, got hit by Hurricane Helen, and as well as East Tennessee and North Georgia. They've got devastating flooding, mudslides. I can't talk, it's a lot. They have devastation in their area. Mudslides, landslides, flooding. People have lost their houses. People have lost their lives. And so SAF is canceled because of that. It is directly in the area that was hit, and the building that SAF is typically held in, the venue, is being used as an emergency shelter for those who have lost their homes and need a place to recover. So understandably, staff is no longer there, so the project had kind of been put on hold, and like I said, I was not feeling well, so I hadn't worked on it. So my question to you guys is if you still want to see a project vlog on it, and I can start it back up, but I do have just a little bit to show you in it. So the colors that I'm using are right here, which is Paintbox Simply DK Paintbox yarns. This one doesn't have a thing. Anyway, Paintbox yarns. I'll go over the colors. There'll be a project page link below, and all of the colors will be listed there. So I have made 2 squares. So this was the first square that I've made, and this was my first official granny square. I'm using DK. The pattern calls for worsted, but using the called for hook, it is perfectly fine. The called for hook is right here. Is a F 3.75 millimeter, and I'm using a clover hook. So using that, I got the gauge of the 5-inch square. Perfect. So I'm going to stick with it. The fabric is nice and drapey. I did test a couple of other counts, rows, and all sorts of stuff, but I like the fabric best on this, so we're going with it. And then I also created a second square, and like I said, started the video. If you still want to see that, let me know, and I'll continue with it. It may just be a longer project than originally expected. So yes, Paintbox yarn, NDK. Do you want to see a video? All of that. Still plan to make it. I'm just not making it for, it was kind of going to be my birthday make, and then also for Saf to wear there, but I'll just wear it to it next year. Okay, so that is all for my works in progress. Let me know in the comments if you still want to see that project vlog. It would not be in place of a podcast, but would kind of be an extra bonus video when it is ready. All right, so let's talk about acquisitions, and then we'll go into stats after that. So the first acquisition that I have is my Long Dog yarn, which is the Yarn of Enchantment monthly collection that she has right now. And so if you haven't gotten that yet and you don't want to be spoiled, turn it off. Don't look. It's not worth it. Here is the colorway. It is a beautiful red and green. The colorway is called Red, Green, or Christmas in her Merino Sock base. And it is gorgeous. Kind of reminds me of like an apple. It'll probably be socks for my friend, Resi, which I have a lot of reddish colors right now. But I don't know. One of these will be for Resi. One of these will be for Resi for Christmas. The other one is my Yarnable. So again, if you have not received your Yarnable subscription, do not look if you do not want to be spoiled. And I will show you the extras first. The first ones of the extras are, I got 2 pins that are click pins. So they are click that way. They say trick or treat. And one is a ghost and one is a pumpkin with a tiny ghost on it. And my niece has already claimed the ghost one, so I'm going to have to pass that along to her when I finish recording, and then I'll keep the other one as a little ghosty pin. We also got some homemade toffee. I was reading the back of it, and it looks like it's just some typical toffee with some sprinkles and deliciousness. Mine looked like it got pretty beat up in the mail, but I'm looking forward to giving that a try as well. And then the last thing in the extras is this detoxifying face mask, which looks like to be a little bat. So adorable. So opened this and Kate said, yes, self-care. And I was like, yes, girl, we are going to have some self-care, eat some crunch, and knit. Alright, for the yarn is called Witch Please, and this colorway is stunning. It is a purple with some muddy green, some lime green speckles in there, maybe a little bit of black. Beautiful. I'm actually winding up yarn after recording today, so I will probably go ahead and wind this up and have this for maybe Halloween cast on or something along those lines. Alright, so let's talk about stats. So if you are new here and you don't know what I'm doing or what stats would be about, I am on a mission, not necessarily, it's just a goal, and it doesn't matter if I don't reach the goal, everything will be fine, but I am on a goal to use more of my yarn than I am bringing in. I like to collect yarn. Yarn collecting is a hobby in itself, and I will always collect yarn. I like to be inspired by it. Don't have to use it right away, but I also want to make sure that my yarn collecting is in balance with my yarn usage. So just trying to be a little bit more mindful in that process. So I started at the beginning of the year recording the skeins of yarn that I have purchased and skeins of yarn that I have used. So with the end of September, these are the stats from the last day in September is when I wrote these down. I have purchased 102 skeins this year. That includes the yarn for the blanket, the yarn for the cardigan, and the yarn for the chicken. So all of those are included in that 102 skeins. So quite big projects are in that inclusion of stats. I have used, meaning I have completed, I have put in my scraps, I have marked it out of my collection, 55 skeins of yarn. I have also in use, meaning the blanket, the cardigan, that sort of thing, I have 50 skeins in use right now. Those are things that are in socks and in other projects that I haven't shown you in a while because I haven't worked on them, but that includes all of that yarn. So like I said, the 25 skeins from the blanket, the skeins here for the cardigan, all included in that is 50 skeins. So at the moment, I always include my in-use skeins with my stats just because I am using them. They will be used up. And so I am at 102 purchased and 105 in use or used. So still going good on my calculations. And both of these projects are expected to be done at the end of the year. So I'm comfortable including those in the stats. The blanket should be done at the end of November, and then the cardigan, it's not as big of a rush anymore, but it'll likely be done sometime in November. So all of those will be included in that. So 102 versus 105. So still going good. I think that just includes everything yarn related. Just a little bit of lifey stuff. Like I said, after I finished recording the podcast last episode, which I am so sorry that it was blurry. I feel so bad, but I started feeling unwell right after I finished recording that podcast and didn't feel well enough to record another one and redo it. And then I have technically been sick since then. So a full 3 weeks of being sick. And like I said, I'm still not great. I've had tonsillitis. I have been bitten by an unknown creature, and my entire forearm was a hive, and then just general cold and just feeling icky. So I appreciate your patience over the past couple of weeks while I have not been well enough to get a good video out for you. But like I said, feeling better, so hopefully this will finish up and I'll be right as rain. Other than that, life has been pretty good. Just working and knitting and making and chickens, all that fun stuff. If you want to see some updated pictures of the chickens, we just recently moved the boys into their own run, and so the girls are in their own run. If you want to see some updated pictures of the chickens, I just posted a couple of photo dumps on my Instagram, and you can find that link below, and you can check out how the chickens are doing, how they're looking. The roosters are huge. But, yeah, everybody is doing well. Charlie's doing well, so all is good. All right. Well, that is all that I have for you guys today, so thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, and that way it will tell YouTube that you enjoyed the video and share it with others. If you'd like to see another video in the future, please consider clicking the subscribe button. It is free, and it brings joy to my life every time someone subscribes, so please consider doing so. And then let me know about the video, leave me a comment, let me know how you're doing, and I'll see you next time.